Imagine building a multi-billion-dollar empire on self-love and female empowerment, only to blow it up with a single Instagram story. That is exactly what happened when BTS members RM and J-Hope shared footage of themselves partying at a Chris Brown concert in Toronto. The internet did not just react, it erupted. For a fan base largely composed of young women, watching their idols publicly cheer for a man with a documented history of domestic violence felt like the ultimate blind spot. The debate instantly exploded across X and Reddit, dividing millions between fierce loyalty and total betrayal. Was this an innocent appreciation of music, or clear proof that brand morality vanishes the second the cameras turn off? The silence from their camp only made the backlash louder. Welcome back to the channel. Let us get right into it. To understand how fast this unraveled, you have to look at the exact digital paper trail that set the internet on fire. RM and J-Hope showed up in Toronto for a co-headlining stadium stop featuring Usher and Chris Brown. If they had simply stayed backstage in VIP and enjoyed the music privately, nobody would have blinked. But J-Hope didn't keep it low-key. He pulled out his phone, recorded both of them dancing to Chris Brown's track Look at Me, and posted it directly to his main Instagram story, tagging Brown's official handle. Minutes later, Chris Brown doubled down by sharing a backstage photo standing shoulder to shoulder with the two BTS megastars. Within an hour, screen recordings were tearing through TikTok and X with millions of views, and the response was pure whiplash. People weren't looking at two friends having a casual night out. They were looking at a glaring double standard. Watching members of that exact same group publicly party with a man whose legal record of severe violence against women spans nearly 2 decades completely shattered the core message they had sold to the public for 10 years. Naturally, the damage control brigade rushed to flood the replies with a predictable defense. They were only there to support Usher. But anyone familiar with live entertainment immediately saw through that excuse. Co-headlining tours don't have accidental audiences. You don't sit through an entire set and tag the headliner to 40 million followers unless you actively want that association attached to your name. The online mood flipped fast from giving them the benefit of the doubt to calling out straight-up performative indifference. Critics pointed out the obvious. When you operate at the highest level of global pop culture, a public tag isn't just personal fun, it is a massive commercial validation. Did they genuinely not know, or did they just assume their mostly female fan base would quietly look the other way? Because in the entertainment industry, loyalty is profitable, but silence is completely free. But the Usher excuse wasn't even the wildest defense stans cooked up. What came next completely rewrote the rules of internet delusion. That sparked the next wave of pushback, the cultural disconnect defense. Thousands of posts across Reddit and Popheads started arguing that because RM and J-Hope grew up in South Korea, they couldn't possibly grasp the gravity of Chris Brown's 2009 assault on Rihanna or the long list of restraining orders that followed. But that argument fell apart almost immediately. BTS are not sheltered rookies navigating the Western music scene for the first time. They have lived and worked at the top of the American mainstream for nearly a decade. On top of that, the Rihanna case wasn't some quiet regional rumor. It was a globally televised legal reckoning that permanently reshaped modern pop culture history. Claiming that two men in their 30s who actively study American music history were completely clueless felt less like a genuine defense and more like an insult to their basic intelligence. It exposed a wild double standard. While Western fans drew a hard line against domestic abuse, domestic forums brushed it off as just another casual night out. At this point in their global careers, does claiming cultural ignorance actually hold up? Or has it just become the easiest get-out-of-jail-free card for celebrity misconduct? It really makes you wonder where an honest blind spot ends and deliberate apathy begins. Yet while the firestorm grew, both artists stayed completely silent, leaving their fans to tear each other apart in the comments. And if you think this level of corporate silence is wild, wait until you see how the fandom completely melted down to defend it. Hit subscribe if you love watching these industry double standards get dragged into the light, because the civil war that followed was pure chaos. That silence triggered a full-blown civil war inside the fandom, splitting the community into 3 bitterly divided camps. The first group consisted of longtime fans who openly voiced their heartbreak, standing on the principle that holding your favorite artists to their own stated values is the highest form of respect. The second camp immediately retreated behind the classic separate the art from the artist argument, insisting that streaming a song or cheering at a concert exists in a vacuum with zero ethical ties to the singer's real-world abuse. To shut down critical voices, organized fan accounts weaponized algorithmic damping, coordinating mass streaming pushes and spamming unrelated chart milestones to force critical hashtags off the trending tabs on X and TikTok. Watching people execute Olympic-level mental gymnastics to shield a convicted abuser just to protect a boy band's pristine image was surreal. But even that didn't prepare anyone for the third faction, whose reactions crossed entirely into unhinged territory. This extreme wing dragged the entire conversation to a disturbing new low. Some accounts even started making jokes trivializing physical and sexual violence just to deflect heat from the group. The psychological break was wild to witness. Here was a community built entirely around self-worth, emotional healing, and mutual respect, completely discarding those exact morals in real time. That is textbook sunk-cost delusion. When you spend 10 years of your youth and bank account turning pop stars into moral saints, admitting they messed up feels like admitting your whole personality is a scam. So instead of holding them accountable, you double down. Instead of facing reality, thousands of young followers chose to degrade their own self-respect and normalize violence, exposing just how dangerous parasocial worship becomes when brand loyalty replaces basic human empathy. And just when defenders thought they had control of the narrative, the worst possible person decided to log on and blow up their entire operation. While stans were actively torching their own credibility online to protect RM and J-Hope, Chris Brown himself showed up in the comments. A young female fan posted a measured breakdown explaining why seeing BTS promote Brown felt like a slap in the face to female survivors. Chris Brown showed up in her replies with 3 simple words: "Pray about it, ho." Let that sink in. The exact man thousands of young girls were sacrificing their own dignity to defend, turning right around and calling them out of their name on a public feed. You literally cannot write irony that poetic. The mask didn't just slip, it was ripped completely off. That single reply completely crushed the separate, the art from the artist narrative, proving on a public feed that handing a massive platform to an unrepentant abuser directly empowers him to keep degrading women. When the very person you are sacrificing your own morals to defend turns around and attacks your own community, what does it actually take for stan culture to wake up? It was an undeniable reality check that forced everyone to look at where their loyalty really went. Yet despite the blatant disrespect thrown right at their community, the official BTS accounts didn't utter a single word. That silence reveals the real machinery behind celebrity culture. In the industry, this complicity operates as an unwritten pact where powerful figures look the other way, minimize past abuse, and protect each other's status for the sake of professional networking and convenience. Fans launched massive international email campaigns begging big hit music and Hybe to issue a basic statement, but the corporate machine executed a textbook Blackout PR strategy. They chose absolute, disciplined silence, knowing the internet's short attention span would eventually bury the controversy without leaving behind any messy press statements. RM and J-Hope never signed a piece of paper endorsing domestic violence, but by refusing to offer even a basic clarification, they protected the exact boys' club culture their music claims to fight. When your entire billion-dollar brand is built on telling people to speak yourself, going completely invisible the second your actions cause real harm is the ultimate contradiction. It proves that beneath the polished marketing and inspirational speeches, elite camaraderie and commercial safety will always come before genuine integrity, leaving millions of young women to defend a boy band that would not even spare a single sentence to defend them back. At this point, we are past asking if they knew. The real question is whether stan culture will ever hold its favorites accountable, or if commercial convenience always wins. Let me know your thoughts in the comments, hit subscribe for more unfiltered breakdowns, and I will catch you in the next one. Bye.